Alright everybody, this is Evan Irwin, and of course I'm coming to you from the draft queue right now. I'm in the 8-4 queue, there's only me in there. And, of course we've had drafting with Rich, now we have drafting with Kenji. I think that's fantastic, but what we don't have, even though we have draft cap, is the sort of live thoughts and what's going on in someone's head when they're actually drafting. Now you can look at all the packs later and say, you know what, I should have done this or should have done that, but when you look at it live, I think it gives it a little bit more interesting feel. So we're going to try that today and see how it works out, and we'll rejoin when this begins. Alright, so here we go, pick one, pack one. What are we looking at here? Well, we got a Rift Bolt, that's always fun. And probably what I'm going to choose. Let's see, if there's anything else. Obviously Terramorphic Expanse is great, it's just not first pickable. Snapback is fantastic, but it's just nothing compared to the burn spell. Conflagrate is okay, not first pickable. Like, Rift Bolt is better than Conflagrate pretty much, every day of the week. So we'll pick Rift Bolt. In terms of looking for things to come back, I don't think that Snapback's coming back. I don't think that Conflagrate has much of a chance of coming back. So let's just get the Rift Bolt and move on. Alright, pick number 2. What do we got here? The best cards in this pack are Dread Return, We got the Baloth. Baloth is good. The Coal Stoker is good. Ivory Giant, not quite pick number 2 worthy. To me personally, it's between the Coal Stoker and the Darkwood Baloth. The Cloud Scraper guy is horrible. It costs a gajillion mana. And Ghost Flame Sliver, we're not in black-red, at least not yet. I really like the Baloth here because I really like green-red as an archetype. And Coal Stoker is fantastic, but, if we took the Baloth here, I don't think we'd be sending any green signals because the Cloud Scraper is not a signal for green, and neither is the Acid Moss. We may send a little signal of red here with Coal Stoker, but nothing I would be worried about. So we'll take the Baloth. Pick number 3. What do we have here? We have Castle Raptors are still in the pack. That's an excellent card. Gemhide Sliver is still in the pack. We'll probably get that because it's acceleration and it's mana fixing on one. Flame Core is okay. I tell you, that guy can get you in a lot of trouble because of the bounce and because of tapping effects and all sorts of things. And Temporal Eddy, oh my god, Temporal Eddying a Flame Core Elemental after they paid Echo for it is such a beating, it's not even funny. Indrik Sar is still here. That guy, I've heard, is pretty good, but we're nowhere near black, and I'm not a big fan of black unless it's black-blue. So we'll take the Gemhide Sliver, see what happens. Let's see here. We've got some Browbeat action. Ixodron is still here. That guy's excellent. Herdnar is very good. Flowstone Channeler is very good. Dreamstalker, also an excellent card. Ixodron being in here makes me want to go blue. Because it's an extremely good card that can hose all sorts of things. I like the Herdnar, and I'm kind of afraid to go into blue. I want to pick the Ixodron. I really do, guys, but that's some heavy blue, so I want to pick the Gnar. Okay. Ooh, look at that. Another Conflagrate and Grape Shot, which is probably what we're going to choose here. Let's see, anything else for consideration? Night of the Holy Nimbus still sticking around, so whoever got that Castle Raptors will be happy to see him. Slipstream Serpent's obviously really good for the guy who's about to pick Ixodron, I'm sure. Bogarden Rager should table, I hope. That's an excellent card that a lot of people don't give a lot of respect to. Let's take the Grape Shot, as it is removal. It's direct damage. Oh, wow. Look at the Empty the Warrens that came 6th pick. I was actually completely writing that off. I'm like, man, Herdnar is so much better when you have an Empty the Warrens. And then it showed up. Let's see here. There's really no other cards that are anywhere near that power level. So we'll take that. Alright, up next. Whoa, look at the Basalt Gargoyle coming in 7th. Get on that. Verdalon the Ancient is nice. Not a bad card. It actually looks better than I think it really is. Because, let's face it, you're not going to play it for 6 mana. You're going to play it for 7 mana, 8 mana, 9 mana, so on and so forth. So that really makes it a 7+ drop. And those are hard to work with. Ashcoat Bear I would rather pick over Verdalon most of the time. And that's from honestly playing with Verdalon than being underwhelmed. The Shambler is really good. Hopefully it tables. Corpulent Corpse is still here, so whoever took the Indrik Sar is going to be happy to see him. But the Basalt Gargoyle is just better. Let's see here. Look at the Thick-Skinned Goblin. That's nice. And the Ashcoat Bears, they're really our only choices, and we're going to take the Goblin because he's great. He also makes the Flame Core Elemental a lot more playable thanks to his ability. Alright, there's my original pack. Looks like the Bone Splitter Sliver made it. The foil one did not. And that and Chameleon Blur are our only choices, so we'll go with the Bone Splitter. Alright, let's see here. The Acid Moss is great. The Blade Scout is okay. No other cards in our colors. I'm going to take the Acid Moss. I'm actually really excited what we got so far. This is kind of shaping up here. The Empty the Warrens, 6th pick. Holy cow. And Basalt Gargoyle, I have taken that guy pretty highly. So that's a pretty clear signal that come future sight, from that side of the table, I shouldn't have any worries about getting some decent red. And that's good because there's some fantastic red cards in future sight. Hey, look at that. Flame Core Elemental, like I said, becomes much more playable now that we have a Goblin. Otherwise, I would have taken that Wormwood Dryad, but we'll take him the Elemental. I mean, if he can stick, I mean, he's a house. He really is. 4 mana for a 5/4. I mean, you've got to deal with that guy. But if they're playing islands, I would stick him in the sideboard pretty damn quick. Alright, let's see. Quick pick, I guess it'd be the Molder, not picking Ground Rift. Let's see here. Between these three, I think I'm going to take Venser's Sliver. The only thing we could play. Probably won't play it. And I like to hide the cards that are probably not going to make my main deck, so I can sort of see what my actual deck is sort of going to end up looking like. May not play that Bone Splitter Sliver, but he's still a maybe. So we'll feel it out here. There's a Sprout we're not going to play, but we'll pick it anyway. And there's a Screeching Sliver. Alright, let's see. Pick one from Planar Chaos. What do we got? We're in green, we're in red. There's exactly one red card in here. And we're not picking Battery Sliver first. So let's look at our green. We have Essence Warden, Reflex Sliver, Uktabi Drake. Pretty good white cards that are both double white, so we couldn't splash them if we wanted to. We could take the Sunlance. We do have a Gemhide Sliver. Don't know if I'd exactly call that a great splash. I'd hate to first pick an Essence Warden, you know what I mean? So I think we should take the Sunlance here and see how it goes, because you know, it feels like a throwaway pick because there's no really great green cards here, and there's obviously no good red cards here. Alright, look at pick number 2. Check that out. We got Intet the Dreamer if we really wanted to try for the green, red, blue. But I tell you, right now it's between Giant Dust Wasp and Shivan Meteor, and whenever you have the choice between removal spell or good creature, you generally always choose the removal spell, and that's what I'm going to do because Shivan Meteor is fantastic. Alright, let's see what we got here. We do have the option of Rada, who's not that great. I drafted her before. She wasn't kicking all sorts of ass. Let's see, we got Brute Force, which is probably what's going to be my pick here. Erratic Mutation is still around for the blue player. Cradle to Grave for the black player. Aquamorph and Dreamscape again. Evolution Charm's good stuff. Would actually have gotten a higher pick order had I taken the Intet. But right now, I believe I'm going to take Brute Force because it is both a Lightning Bolt and a combat trick, sort of all in one. Alright, let's see here. Pick number 3. We have a choice between either Membrane, who I think is better than a lot of people give it credit for, because it blocks damn near everything. Let's see, the Uktabi Drake is still here, which would probably table. The Keldon Marauders I'm not a huge fan of anyway. Kavu Predator has very little chance of actually getting larger, as it were, because you have to play stuff like Healing Leaves, or you have to mize a Grove of the Burn Willows in the next pack. So I think I'm going to go... I don't like it, but I think I'm going to go with the Ether Membrane. There's not a lot of good other options, and I like how Ether Membrane can stop an onslaught pretty quickly. Alright, let's see. Pick number 4, or number 5 rather. Whoa! Is that a Prodigal Pyromancer 5th pick? Because I think I'm just going to take it. Why does this guy go so late in the 8/4s? I don't really understand that. I'm a first pick Prodigal Pyromancer type of guy. Big fan of that guy. Kills a lot of problems. Had a couple of them before in drafts, as in 2 or more in the same deck. And you know, he will find a removal spell. They will kill him quickly, I assure you. He messes up combat math. He keeps them from playing any X1s. He will completely destroy a rebel chain. Let's see, next pick we have the option of Keldon Marauder's Firefright Mage, and that's about it. I'm not a huge fan of Planar Chaos because, in terms of drafting, because the plane shifted cards can cause packs to be just weirdly off color, as it were, and have more of one color than another, such as that one red card in our opening pack or what have you. So I'm going to pick the Keldon Marauders here and pass the rest. Alright, let's see. Wow, that's a pretty excellent pack. For our 7th pick, we have the option of Utopia Vow, Sting Scourger, and Sentinel Wood Readers. Now, a lot of people love the Wood Readers, and I love them too. I just don't love them more than Sting Scourger, because that guy can swing some tempo. Alright, let's see here. We have the Reflex Sliver as an option, and the Vitaspore Thallid. And I don't think we're going to be taking the Thallid, so we'll take the Sliver. Alright, and both the Essence Warden, which we were not planning on first picking, and the Uktabi Drake tabled, which is nice. And I'm going to take the Warden, because I also believe that the other Uktabi Drake we saw is going to table. And the Essence Warden is also just a fantastic one-drop. You know, he can gain you life as the game goes on, and you know they don't want to use a removal spell on it. But at the same time, you know, it can keep you in the game longer by just sticking around. Alright, there's a Kavu Predator that tabled. Alright, let's see here. The Rada table, that's nice. Fits right into our mana curve, gives us a nice 2-drop. Let's see. Well, all 4 of these cards are options. Marauders, Corona, the Steel of Primordium, and Life and Limb. We've already got Molder for enchantment and artifact removal, and Life and Limb is... we'll take that just because we can, I guess. The Dust Corona, I mean, I wasn't planning on playing the Marauders anyway. So, there's a Firefright Mage. And the Venerian Glimmerlass. Alright, so one of Future Sight. I see that Imperiosaur and no other cards that are anywhere close to its power level. So I'm just going to take that guy because he's huge. Alright, pick number 2. Wow, look at the foil Glittering Wish. That's pretty. As for, there are no burn spells in this pack. There is a Sprout Swarm, which is pretty much what we're going to take because Sprout Swarm is absolutely ridiculous. Let's see, there's no real other options here, at least nowhere near that power level. So, we'll take the Sprout Swarm. Alright, next up, we have the ability to get the Primarch, or a Nessian Courser, or the Thornweld Archer. As for the red cards, the Emberwild Augur is not exciting, and neither is the Grinning Ingus. So really, we got three green cards to choose from. Let's not even talk about the petroglyphs; they're awful. I'm thinking the Courser because I think we're going to see another Primarch later, and the Courser is taken pretty highly. It's a 3/3 for 3. It's fantastic against a whole bunch of decks, and I like the Archer. But I like the Courser a little bit more because he's 3 power and 3 toughness, and the Archer can get killed by stuff like Prodigal Pyromancer or Grapeshot, or you know, virtually anything that can deal 1 damage or give -1/-1. So we'll take the Nessian Courser and hope to see a Kavu Primarch later. So for this one, we have a 4th pick, Ghostfire. Wow, that's pretty impressive, and there's another Primarch for us, but there is nothing compared to the Ghostfire in terms of power level. Alright, so for this pick we have the option of Rift Sweeper, Haze of Rage, Fomori Nomad, Edge of Autumn. I believe we're going to take the Edge of Autumn. Why? Over the 4/4 monster, because this both accelerates and mana fixes as necessary. And Magus of the Mo, and Haze of Rage, which is actually pretty good with Sprout Swarm, but it doesn't do what Edge of Autumn does. You know what I mean? Alright, so for the next pick, we have the option of Virulent Sliver and Fomori Nomad. And because Llanowar Augur is awful. So I think we're going to take the 4/4 monster. Alright, next up we have a Sword of the Meek, which is actually pretty friggin' good. And no real other options. Homing Sliver, we're not playing slivers, and Rapid Vigor is awful. So we're going to take the equipment, which really just annoys your opponent. And the Green Ingus is okay. Actually, I'm thinking of taking the Green Ingus here because we have the Empty the Warrens and the Grape Shot, and it's important that we don't rely on this tabling as, I guess, what will end up being a last pick. So we'll take the Ingus. Alright, for this pick we have virtually no options. The only card in our colors is Rift Elemental, so we'll take that. And none of these cards are powerful enough to hate. Alright, let's see. Next up we have, for us, a Bulgarian Lancer, a Hinge-Fiend of Ukor that we can't pay the Echo on, and a Char Rumbler who's not very good at all. So I think I'm just going to maybe rare draft the Shapeshifter's Marrow. To be honest, the Teleria West is worth more. Alright, look at that Grinning Ingus. Wow, we do certainly have the Storm deck going on. Nothing wrong with that. Alright, there's a Boldweir Intimidator, who would be on the heavy side of our curve, probably on the top of our curve, but you know, he's a 5/5 for 7 mana that can take over the combat step. We didn't see another Primarch, and that's unfortunate, but I think the cards we took over it are justifiable. Maybe people like the Primarch better than the Courser, but you know, that happens. We'll get the Petrified Plating. Hey, now we get to take that Llanowar Augur. Great. Alright, so now we're here in deck building, and what I normally do in deck building, we're just going to ignore the Sunlands for right now. If we need to bring it in there, we will. But what I normally do is, first thing, you get rid of the colors you're not playing, and then I take away, or I sort by converted mana cost, and then what I do is I go through all of these cards and pick out the cards that I'm never ever going to leave in the sideboard, no matter what. So I'm always going to play with the Brute Force. Oops, not the Sprout. The Brute Force. The Brute Force, the Thick-Skinned Goblin, the Sting Scourger. I'm going to play with Rada. I'm definitely going to play with the Gemhide Sliver, the Sword of the Meek, the Sprout Swarm, the Grape Shot, not the Kelvin Marauders, Edge of Autumn, the Pyromancer, the Nessian Courser, Grinning Ingus, and we might play with both of them, we'll see. Definitely going to play with that Gargoyle because he's amazing. The Ghost Fire and the Rift Bolt. Let's see, always going to play with that Imperiosaur. I think the Herd Gnar is worth playing, but we're going to hold off. This is just the things we would never ever leave in the sideboard, like the Empty the Warrens, like the Shivan Meteor, like the Baloth. And so here are the cards that I'm going to play with no matter what happens. So let's sort these by converted mana cost. You can see your mana curve looks pretty good to me. Not to mention the Baloth can sort of be considered over here because you rarely, if ever, pay 6 mana for that 5/5. So now we get to sort of choose what the last 4 cards are because you run 23 cards, 17 lands. We got 4 cards. We're going to play the Flame Core because he is so good with the Thick-Skinned Goblin. Herd Gnar because he's good a lot of the time, particularly with Empty the Warrens. And we can play the Essence Warden, who's extremely good, and it's nice to have a 1-drop. And here, sort of the choice between another Grinning Ingus, the Moanvuli Acid Moss, the Fomori Nomad, the Intimidator. I don't see any other cards that are really sort of on the cusp at this point beyond those. And of course we do have the Sunlance as an option, but I don't think it's necessary. I'm going to get the Nomad because I really like him. You know, he's a 4/4 beat machine. So if you look at our converted mana cost again, you'll see that we're just curving right out, and I think that's great. So we have a few sideboard options. We have the ability to put in Aether Membrane if we need to against really aggressive decks. We have the ability to put Intimidator in against slow decks, for example. And we have the ability to put the Acid Moss in against people who, for example, like to play with those dragons or are trying to play Intet, like that, like one person may be. So what I do next is I sort by color, and I see that I've got more red than green. And since we're only running 2 colors, I generally like to split them 9/8, and that just ensures that you'll get, both colors of mana as necessary as soon as possible. We're going to lean red because we got more red cards. By color again. And there is our draft deck. So let's see how it does. In terms of thoughts on this draft, I think that going green-red was the right choice. Going red was definitely the right choice. When you see a 5th pick Ghost Fire and a 6th pick Empty the Warrens, I mean, rarely do those things happen. Not to mention, rarely do they happen in 4-3-2-2s. For those who just play in 4-3-2-2 queues, it really is a different world because people are playing more for the archetype. So you'll see better cards go later because people are more, they're geared into sending signals. They're not afraid, for example, to send a 6th pick Empty the Warrens if they want to put their neighbor into red, for example. In 4-3-2-2, you'll also see a lot of rare drafting, and rarely, and not often do you see that in the 8-4 queue because, as I said, most people are gearing towards their archetypes and they're not worried about making up their ticket deficiencies. So in that case, let's use this deck and see what happens.